is Network 18. And you are watching CNBC TV 18.
Presenting sponsor, Hindustan Unilever Limited. Supported by Mint. Prize sponsor, Spain Tourism. Official management portal, mbauniverse.com.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Lessons in Marketing Excellence online with me, Ankit. After the fantastic experience last week at IIM Calcutta, this week the Line Caravan makes a stop in New Delhi and our destination today is FMS, Faculty of Management Studies, a B school that has become synonymous with quality management education for over 5 decades. The students of FMS New Delhi have a very interesting case study at hand, posed by none other than Star World. Let's try and understand the case study in detail from Anupam Vasudev.
The challenge for us is very simple but very complex. It's related to the English genre of television business. Television business in the English genre has been very static in spite of huge growth in the English-speaking population in India today. We have to unlock this potential, and the challenge for the team in FMS Delhi is how do we unlock this potential. Second challenge related to this is how does Star World play a big role here. Star World is our leading brand in this segment, and we would like it to be the driver for this. How does it differentiate itself from the rest of the players and in terms of positioning and build a strong brand for itself.
Time to meet the jury today. First, representing Star India, Anupam Vasudev. From Hindustan Unilever, Sudhanshu Vats. From Mint, Vivek Khanna. And CNBC TV 18's Anuradha Sengupta. We now have with us Anuradha Sengupta, the editor of Storyboard, and I'm going to try and understand from her. This case study is very interesting. Star TV clearly wants to revamp Star World and its programming and wants to increase its market share and viewer base. What do you make of this case study?
Look, I'm really looking forward to the solutions that FMS students have to offer for this case, because I think that I am the ideal TG for Star World, and I have not been watching Star World in some time now. So, how do you get people like me to get onto this channel and watch? Because I'm not watching the Hindi GECs either. So where am I, people like me, this TG, so tailor-made for Star TV, we seem to be falling through the cracks, Star World. We seem to be falling through the cracks where Star World is concerned. So what solutions the students will offer is going to be interesting for me to hear, because I have a personal stake as a viewer on this one.
45 teams registered for the Star World case online at FMS. And of the entries that finally came in, faculty member Anupama Vohra had the tough task of picking the two most worthy to be on the show representing the best of FMS.
The main thing that I had to keep in mind was the objectivity and closeness to the parameters, which I tried to do to my best possible effort, and it was a very enriching and very enjoyable experience, a very memorable one also.
Let's go over to the two teams that have been shortlisted to give their final presentation to the jury, and let's try and find out what they're going through, and we'll also make a quick toss to find out which team goes and presents first in front of our eminent jury.
And here are the two finalists from FMS. Bicycle Thieves with 3 members, Kusha Goyal, Arkesha Jay and Kashish Sharma. All second-year students and all of them specializing in marketing. And Team BOP, or bottom of the pyramid, with 3 members, only 2 who are present today, Rajat Sagar and Vaibhav Anand, both second-year students specializing in marketing. Evenly matched the two teams, I would say.
It's quite fun actually, because all of us are quite big consumers of TV, so the challenge was something to do with that. So we really enjoyed it. We could connect with it, and that's what made it interesting for us.
We've been watching Star World, so we could connect to the case which was already presented to us. So it was a little bit of fun.
We basically belong to the target group, and we have seen the channel evolve over the time. So we see that probably this is something that might help us into catching back to TV.
Adding to Kushra's point is, since we are the consumers of Star World, the tougher question was, how do you think about people when you want to increase the market share? How do you think about those people? So I think that was one of the trickiest questions there.
I'm going to toss the coin here to try and decide which team goes in to present first. Who takes the call first? BOP, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads, okay. Tails it is. You guys win the toss. Would you like to go first or second?
I think we'll go second.
Tactical advantage.
We'll stay at the bottom of the pyramid.
All the best, team. Thank you. Let the best team win. All the best, guys. We'll take a short break at this point, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, both the teams go in one by one and present in front of the eminent jury. Let's see which team impresses the marketing head honchos.
I will support the bicycle thieves team. I would go with the BOP.
Well, I would not back any team. I would just look for the ideas which I stood for. Somebody representing those ideas, I would favor that team.
I would go for the bicycle thieves.
Every little thing you do is an inspiration for us. No wonder our eco-friendly products have earned India's trust for over 50 years. Inspired by you, trusted by the world. Since 1910, Hitachi. Inspire the next.
Chindamani has tax tension, sabhi dost de ek solution. Go home, go home, go home.
Go home for tax savings?
हाँ, क्योंकि एक कॉल से हम आएंगे आपके घर पे टैक्स बचत की एडवाइस देने. Call ICICI Prudential on 1-800-222-020 or SMS tax to 57827. यानी टैक्स बचत की होम डिलीवरी.
Hey, I was just in town for a few days and I was wondering if I could say hi to the doctor. Is he in?
He's in Copenhagen.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So you can still see him?
You just said he was in
Copenhagen. Come on.
It's pretty far.
Doc, look who's in town.
Ellen.
Copenhagen?
Cool, right? Vacation.
But still seeing patients.
Workaholics.
I heard that.
She said it.
The new Office. See it, live it, share it on the Human Network. Circa.
Jubilant Foodworks Limited, public issue of 22,670,447 equity shares of 10 rupees each, in the price band of 135 to 145 rupees per equity share through a 100% book building process. Bid offer opens 18 January, closes 20th January 2010. For risk factors and other details, refer to the red herring prospectus.
Let's take the trouble out of treatment. Let's uncomplicate. Apollo Munich Health Insurance.
Spread the cheer. McDowell's #1 soda.
Cheers to life.
UTI Mutual Fund is India's first mutual fund to cross 1 crore investor accounts. Thank you, India. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Please read the scheme information document carefully before investing.
Welcome back. You're watching Lessons in Marketing Excellence, and today we come to you from the FMS campus, Faculty of Management Studies in New Delhi. Team Bicycle Thieves, can I please have you here on the stage? Well, let me introduce the eminent jury to you. We have Anuradha Sengupta, editor of Storyboard. We have Anupam Vasudev, Executive VP Star, Vivek Khanna, Business Head of Mint, and Sudhanshu Vats, Vice President, Hindustan Unilever Limited. The floor is open to you. All the best.
The way we see the problem statement is requiring threefold action. Number one, the category expansion, increase share with the genre, explore alternative platforms. Star World is seen as an upscale content channel which runs familiar series. There is a lot of repetitive content, more so in terms of sitcoms and humorous content. It is elitist in the sense that it has Western content. Series like American Idol show a lot of aspirational content as well. What was peculiar was the channel is seen as too American for my taste, and it has a very limited access to Indian content.
We'll move ahead to take a look at the strategies that we suggest that Star World can take a look at. These strategies are primarily derived by the consumer insights that we gained. The first consumer insight that we gained was the language barrier, the discomfort with foreign accent. And something as simple as putting in subtitles, which already is done by movie channels like G Studio, is something which can increase the consumption in current non-viewers who's open to the category in the sense of he likes what he sees, but it's only the foreign accent that troubles him. The recommendation is that we need more shows with Indian content and cast, but we have to maintain the same texture and feel of a Western show in the sense of production values, settings, etc. The benefits, obviously, it will increase consumption both in viewers and non-viewers, that is, growing the category as well as Star Wars share within the genre. The Star Wars does not appeal to the entire family, and that is why an interested TG individual becomes a non-viewer. What we recommend is redefining the prime time so that it does not clash with Hindi general entertainment channels. The next insight was that the English entertainment genre has a very minimal appointment viewing. So what we need to do is we need to do a cross-channel schedule-based advertising in the sense that if an English Premier League is being telecasted, you know that a large part of your TG is watching that English Premier League match. So right after the match, the schedules are known an year on. So schedule your programs right after the match, advertise your program on that channel on Star Sports during the EPL so that right after the match ends, the guy flips onto your channel and watches your show. And the last insight that we found very relevant was that the appointment for viewing, in the sense that making the TV remember the time of the show, can be driven by weekend telecast. Do it on a 2-hour slot on a Sunday and repeat it on the next Saturday. Star World needs to induce content in other categories like reality, thriller. The updated content, the content that comes online in the West needs to come here quicker. Obviously, that's subject to cost constraints and the legislation constraints, but that needs to be brought in more quickly.
Great. Let's have a round of applause for Team Bicycle Thieves. Let's have the jury pose questions directly to the team now.
You talked of positioning the Star World brand as a refreshing channel. Now, what kind of benefit will that give to the viewer, and what kind of content will it come from it? Because it's too wide a segment, and therefore how will you be different from every other channel which is out there?
So actually one of the major insights that we got from our focus GDs was that basically our major target group is into watching a variety of content. So they'll probably be logging on to the net. So basically the TV snackers, they'll be going on TV for 1.5 hours, 2 hours. They'll be watching sports, they'll watch travel, they'll lifestyle, they watch sitcoms, they'll watch something serious, and that's what they generally like, or they'll probably catch a movie because that's quicker, and you don't have to set up a time for every other week you have to watch the series. That is why we felt it's important for us to have a variety of content.
You've done a lot of research and you've done a pretty comprehensive presentation here. Tell me, what's the single biggest strength you see in the channel?
Single biggest strength that it's a niche channel. It has a very loyal base of its viewers, and those viewers will not be comfortable watching any other genre or any other channel more than they would be watching this particular genre or channel.
If this is the strength of the channel, what in your recommendations is saying that we are going to build on this strength, and where do you think you're actually diluting it by saying we should have subtitles, we should have more Indian content, etc.? Any thoughts on that?
See, we have tried to make sure that we do not dilute that core strength of the channel, in the sense that when we say that we want more Indian content appearing on it, what we say is that is what we said. Not to make sure that the core positioning is not diluted, we have to make sure of the production values, the settings, the value of the show, the fabric of the show. Secondly, what we are trying to say is that when we say that putting in subtitles, what it does, it enables few more people to be watching the channel. A case in point being G Studio.
You know, Star World, if I remember right, in its heydays, which was in the 90s, had a lot of women watching it. Bold and the Beautiful, long-running daily soap. It had Oprah in the afternoon. And you have Star World's competitor AXN, which is so clearly targeted to men. Why haven't you thought of very, very aggressively going after women, or is it not worth it in terms of advertisers who will follow the women to an English GEC?
What we thought about is that the TG in itself is a very narrow TG, because apart from the fact that there's an age, the age definition that is there, which is a huge category, the fact that English being a medium of communication, the geographical segmentation being that the guy has got to be a Sec A, a metro living guy. So what when I say guy, I mean both male and female. What happens is that this category in itself is a small category, and with around 1.4 million people only watching Star World, further narrowing down the TG would be probably going for a very small segment of the pie, when Star World can become relevant to a much larger segment of viewers. That is why we think that narrowing it down would probably not is probably not a good idea.
One of the things which you sort of set out to do, or was the brief, is expansion. It's about market expansion. Was there any thought in seeing that how do you get more people into it? So I think the segmentation has started from 18 here, 18 to 23 and 24 to 29. My suggestion or argument would be that the idea is to try and catch them even younger, because that's when they come into viewing, and that's when it will be appointment viewing. Because you don't view to tell people, you view because you like to see a thing. And that's when the viewership will grow genuinely. Because otherwise viewership will not grow, because what you're talking about, so you need to catch them young, and I did not see any thoughts there.
Essentially it started with students from the age group, let's say class 10th, and went up to class 12th. Now the interesting thing we found there was, there is a graduation which happens in terms of the content which you are watching. So for instance, a class 10th student would possibly be watching English content in terms of Disney. Referring to your point of growing the pie, I think 2 points are very essential to know that. One is the elimination of the language barrier, and second, getting a little bit of tangibleness in terms of Indian content.
Thank you so much, Team Bicycle Thief. Can we please have a round of applause for them? Battling off one question after the other. It's time for a quick break here on Lessons in Marketing Excellence, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, Team BOP comes in to present their findings in front of the jury. Come right back.
NTPC contributes to India's economic progress by generating over 30,000 megawatts of power. Foraying into coal, gas, hydro, nuclear and coal mining, with a stated goal to become a 75,000 megawatt power company by 2017. NTPC, powering million smiles.
The stunning new range of Samsung side-by-side refrigerators. Designed with the unique twin cooling system that keeps your food fresh for longer. Samsung Fresh is beautiful.
I'm a dentist, but at the thought of hot and cold things, even I was scared. This pain was a sign of sensitive teeth. Then I used Colgate Sensitive. Teeth become sensitive when their nerves get exposed. Colgate Sensitive forms a protective shield on these exposed nerves and gives fast relief. Now I can enjoy every taste of life. Colgate Sensitive, fast relief from pain of sensitive teeth. I chose it. Now you choose it too.
Colgate, #1 brand recommended by dentists.
सुना है गुल्लू शोरूम बेच रहा है, क्यों ना हम खरीद ले, आमदनी दुगनी हो जाएगी।
पैसे तो आपके मायके से आएंगे।
मायके से क्यों? मेरी अलमारी के लॉकर से आएंगे।
ऐसे दिन नहीं आए हैं कि बीवी के गहने गिरवी रखने पड़े।
जमीन गिरवी रख सकते हो तो इन्हें क्यों नहीं?
मुथूट गोल्ड पावर, आसान दरों पर 5,000 से 1 करोड़ तक का लोन पाएं केवल 5 मिनट में। तो अपने लॉकर में बंद सोने के पावर को जगाएं।
क्योंकि मुथूट गोल्ड पावर है सोने पे सुहागा।
मुथूट एम जॉर्ज एंटरप्राइज।
Find the one that suits you the best. Call 1-1 for your best offers.
The latest issue of Forbes India, now on stands. With the indomitable spirit of Mumbai, everybody is a winner. That's certainty. Tata Consultancy Services. Experience certainty.
Welcome back. You're watching Lessons in Marketing Excellence. Today we come to you from FMS, Faculty of Management Studies in New Delhi. It's quite an interesting case study that Star World has posed to the students of FMS, and now we have Team BOP.
Okay, we are Team BOP. I'm Rajat and he's Vaibhav. Dharamveer could not make it. He's a little unwell. We'll start with the presentation. The research methodology we adopted is basic questionnaire to 73. We got only 73 sample size, direct questions over the internet, and direct with the help of convenient sampling. Then depth interviews of 10 people ranging across the age groups. You can see we've covered all the age groups. Almost 75% of the age group is between 15 to 30 years of age. These are demographic insights taken from Planning Commission's report. New media, it drives the youth. He chases the new media wherever it is available. Whatever he wants to watch, he'll watch it. There's 47% of the population is now below 20 years of age, and within next 5 years, 76% population will be gonna be below 44. That's our TG, 15 to 44 years of age.
We will come to our proposed strategies, which is basically just to pick out one from here is to do subtitles in all shows. All the others we'll cover in the later slides. Because people are not that much familiar with the language or the accent. Basically do some kind of content based on Indian stories. Pick up stories like Sara Bhai versus Sara Bhai or Dil Kya Chahta Hai and do them all over again in English. This is how we propose to divide the timings on Star World from now on. Happy hour from 7 to 9 p.m. which is all the comedy shows. 9 to 10 p.m. the proposed family hour where you just see Indianized content. Followed by the adventure hour where you can see shows like Heroes, Bones, Prison Break, etc. And the late hour where you can see a slightly adult content of shows. Okay, what not to do? This we got directly from our TG. Show timings change quite frequently. So if somebody is following a show, it becomes difficult for him to keep up. Sometimes also what happens is that shows are restarted or ended abruptly. Delayed telecast, this is the major problem. I think Z Cafe has worked to resolve this. A lot of their shows are airing almost at the same time as they are in the US. And what happens with this is that we've already seen the shows on our laptops. A lot of humor shows do have repeat value, but that novelty factor is lost. From 9 to 10 p.m., which is family hour, tone down the episodes a bit, reduce the explicit content, make them a little bit family oriented, or our major suggestion is that introduce Indian shows, Indian stories. Probably get a young Indian Urbane brand ambassador which mirrors our positioning and who makes it hot and hip to watch Star World for people who are beyond the age group where we are positioned at too. Okay, we thought these are the three basic planks on which you could position the channel. English is the language of the world. Star World brings you your world in English. And something about the law of candor. We've been trying to give you an accent since 1992. And all this adds up to what we think should be the new positioning for the channel is just Bharat in English. It's stories about you, stories about India in English on Star World. Thank you.
The floor is now open for the jury to ask you questions.
In your presentation, you mentioned that it's the viewers are making it difficult to are more content loyal than channel loyal, and in that context, especially the younger target audience where you have even now different devices available for you to watch television, whether it's the net or mobile, etc. In that context, how do you make the Star World brand relevant for them such that you build brand channel loyalty rather than just letting it being driven by programs?
I think it's difficult for a TV channel to build a kind of brand loyalty. We have seen that with the Hindi GCs because Sony, Z all have crashed when colors came in.
Arrived.
And I think brand loyalty for a channel will always be based a little bit on content, quite highly on content. I think if we resolve the issues we mentioned in our presentation to a large extent, there will be loyalty. There are factors which are killing this kind of loyalty, and which we raised in the presentation.
Is there anything else you think you can suggest from a marketing perspective?
Marketing perspective, I think you're branding some kind of time as say humor or family viewing, then show the same kind of content there. I mean, 8 p.m. 1 year ago on Star World used to be a humor hour, and now I think it's HP space. So I can't really watch that and laugh. So that really, I am a very loyal consumer of Star World. It's the first channel on my favorites on my DTH, and that is a kind of thing that really hurts me as a consumer.
Next question.
What's going to be unique to this channel compared to all the other channels which are there?
I think the key here is that you don't do the wrong things. You do these things right. Secondly, what I would like to say is, as a consumer myself, as the people, and from among the people I've interviewed, we have talked to, there were a lot of parallel shows they watched. I mean, they would switch their channels to watch instead of Star World, which had the same kind of wit and humor as Star World. So, which is why we suggested some Indianized content, and that is not to change the positioning of Star World, that is just to bring to the fore, there are a lot of interesting stories happening in India. And we just want to say that, show them in English, that's it.
How does that then work with one of the major suggestions you had on subtitles in is it Hindi or Indian languages or whatever? So I'm saying that's where it's sort of, so there is a thought, then you sort of tend to sort of again bring in everyone, try to be inclusive. That's where the problem is.
I think we debated that, and in the end decided that time is not ripe for Hindi subtitles as yet. The Star World brand is not such. Subtitles have to be in English, and I think that is the core positioning of it's an English GEC. You cannot give Hindi subtitles or regional languages.
Thank you so much, Team BOP, for your presentation. Let's have another round of applause for their presentation. Okay. We'd request you to please take your seat, and we'll have the jury deliberate on both the presentations and give the final score. After much consideration and pondering over the presentations, the jury is ready with the results. The winner of the challenge, the case study presented by Star TV to the FMS students out of Team BOP and Bicycle Thieves, the winner is Team BOP. Congratulations. Okay, where do you think that little edge, what was it that was missing?
I think the Bicycle Thieves versus BOP. BOP had great insights of the thoughts. They had a lot of ideas which they brought to the table. In terms of Bicycle Thieves, their ideas and thoughts were not as great together. They had a good presentation. They structured it well. They got, they thought through most of the things as well. But the creative end of it was missing. The wider ideas or thoughts which really make a difference to the whole plan.
Okay.
And I think from the BOP India, though they had great ideas, and we certainly think they did a good job at that end, but I think there's some scope for improvement for them as well, where they could have packaged themselves as the core ideas much better. They had a lot of ideas, but they're all over the place. It didn't come together. It didn't come together. There are certain core thoughts which are there in the presentation, which they have talked about, but they couldn't build it into a larger...
It was left to you to look for them.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
If they were on TV, we might have surfed away.
I think the essence is actually, as both the teams were talking about, it's content which has won. But in today's day and age, you got to package it well as well. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing which Anupam is also saying for Team B.
Perfect. With that, it's a wrap up here at FMS in New Delhi. Next week, we'll see you in another top B school with another real-life marketing case study provided by one of India's best business or brand. Till then, keep watching CNBC TV 18. And next week,